Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm going to go through some notes here that I took during listening to another spiritual teacher that, I follow, but they're so technical about the things that they say that people probably lose interest because most people don't think that rationally. Especially about things like past lives. So I'm going to go through my notes here and see if I can explain it in more layman's terms and help you understand what the oversoul is channeling to you and directing you and guiding you to embrace through your higher self. Okay? You are not a singular being. You are a cosmic process. So in the 3D, in the 4D, the higher self, or the oversoul uses this channel, you, to go deeper into time, which means past, present, and future kind of all happening at once. That is the 5th dimension. Okay? So the experiences in our reality are like an echo into helping you understand what you're supposed to be doing in this lifetime. And the more we awaken, the more we start to become our higher self. This is the self that exists in all time and space, like the past, present, and the future. So it's basically the end game. This is where our spirituality is leading us in the next phase of our development. So these are our blueprints, basically. They contain our soul's energetic signature. And it's a continuation of a past life that builds off of another, or a magnetic pull to aid us in balancing and therefore our healing themes in our energetic signature. What needs to be addressed in this lifetime. Because it is magnetic, because it's karma. And karma is magnetic. Karmic situations that help us grow. So that helps us balance the previous lessons or the previous work in a past life. Therefore, like tarot readers, psychics, and that's spiritual gurus. Anybody who's on this trajectory has probably already done it once in another lifetime. However, with this ascension, it's more imperative for them to get the information out to everyone. Because that's like their soul's signature. That's like what they're supposed to be doing. So the reincarnation that we've experienced before can help us to grow, or it can be stuck on a conscious feedback loop that recycles the soul over and over again, and the experiences through what's called samsara, but you can look that up for yourself. All right, because that's a whole other story. Okay, so once our consciousness is located in the 5th dimension, not only are our past lives happening all at once, but they're no longer an energetic signature. They're more like a fractal or a pattern that we see. We see it. We see it. And some people can't open their third eye, but they can go into dream time and relive past experiences. Say, for instance, I have seen 5 deaths in my dreams. 5 ways I've died in past lives. So that has made me not fear it. I hope that makes sense. So, from the fifth dimension, past lives are an energetic pattern that exists in a sea of consciousness where memory is contained in the soul stream. And that's what's rippling out so we can experience that past life from a higher density, or perceived as simultaneous lives, and experiencing them all at once, like parallel timing. The past, present, and the future. So it's all happening at one time for people in the fifth dimension. For people in the third and fourth dimension, it's happening in the past and in the now time. So you might be recognizing some of the things that are taking place on Earth right now from a past life. I hope that makes sense, because I listened to this speaker talk about it, and I realized that, the average person isn't going to understand that, especially the technical parts of it. So I hope that explains the third, fourth, and fifth dimension as far as time goes. This is what I built my channel on, was the law of time, which only applies to the third dimension, fourth dimension. In the fifth dimension, like I said, it's like a simultaneous happening all at once. So you experience past lives and future lives, as well as the present time, all at once. And the dream time that you experience, because this is really how it comes through. It's telling you where you've been and where you're going and where you're at. All this, I know this is a lot, but understand that that's when you're going into the fifth dimension, you understand this, that it becomes a soul stream and a stream of consciousness, and it's like the resonance to energetic echoes is so strong that you can create that future timeline for yourself, because that's where you resonate, that you resonate towards that morphogenetic field instead of like an old pattern. So like I said, now you change the dynamic into seeing it from all three perspectives instead of just right now. Like I said, I hope this makes sense to some people, because I feel like, a lot of you are experiencing this and you don't know why. You don't understand what it means. And it's just like how I put myself in certain situations in some readings, they haven't happened yet, but I know they're going to happen. I predicted things that happened 2 years ago about 3 or 4 months before, because I saw them happening, and it wasn't like I did it on purpose. I didn't do it on purpose. It's like when I started reading tarot, I didn't do that on purpose. It had just happened. I had no idea about spirituality or any of that stuff prior to, I wasn't awake, I wasn't aware. And that was only in 2016. But as I deleted certain patterns in myself, other patterns, other things started coming out, and it changed my whole life. It changed. And I went through 7 years of very, very difficult times, learning how to control my emotions through trauma. And that's how we do it, because you keep repeating the same thing over and over again until you change how you react to it. Because when you start seeing things as they are instead of as, you know, the illusion, you start accepting it and then moving forward in a different direction. Not only just moving in a different direction, but handling things differently. Instead of like, I used to, you know, lose my cool and just freak out, you know, when something went wrong. Now I just sit and I go, well, why did this go wrong? How did I react? How am I going to handle it? And that's a different paradigm than I was on before 2016. All right? So, and this is we create this with what we resonate with. If it resonates for you, follow that, because chances are that's your blueprint from a past life, and it's trying to get your attention, so you change the way that you react to things and the way that you handle things. You're not doing it out of a means of survival. You're doing it from a creative perspective. Okay. So this is how you know that this is, you know, and somebody asked me that yesterday about, you know, how do I know? How do I know? Because you're going to feel it. It's going to resonate. It's going to be there upon, you know, like awakening. When you have these dreams, you're going to have unexplainable emotions, and it's going to be charged, and your reactions are going to come out. This is something that you're not going to be able to put any kind of logic or reasoning or this emotional, you're not going to be able to reason with it. You're going to have to kind of like accept it, because you're reacting to it. And it's an emotional, it has nothing to do with thought. So like I said, it's pulling you in that direction emotionally and making you look at a bigger reasoning behind it, even though it makes no sense. I mean, it really makes no sense, this emotional purging. I don't know about you, but during my experience, I spent 2 years after losing my mother on a shower floor in grief, and it damn near killed me, because that is the heart chakra. So, you know, this is part of the balancing of the chakras. The heart chakra is blocked by grief, and that will cause a disruption in your chi, in your overall energy. Just like the willpower, the solar plexus chakra is blocked by shame. Being ashamed to say anything, being ashamed to be yourself, being ashamed for living, which is hence the control mechanisms that people are using to keep you masked, to keep you from seeing who you really are in this lifetime. And that goes for not just people who are wearing masks, but for people who don't know the true reason why they're here. But we're all here for a reason, you know. The ones you see leaving are the ones that they've kind of agreed to that prior to, because I understand now. See, when I lost my mother, I was completely grief-stricken. But when 2020 rolled around and I tried to change my paradigm, family-wise and otherwise, I understood it. She would have never made it. She would have never been able to accept the things. It would have just put her into more grief, and she would have gotten sadder and sadder and sadder, and she did not want to lose her facilities. That was one of the things that she was always worried about, was not being able to take care of herself. I worry about it too, so I understand. And she wouldn't have been able to through the 2020 debacle that caused so many people to live in fear. So when you unexplainably emotionally react to this, it seems like it's out of context to reality. But it's not. It's your soul guiding you towards what you're supposed to be doing and what you're supposed to, your blueprint says you're here to do. So this doesn't come from the thinking body. Like I said, this comes from the emotional. It comes from within. And dream time is a significant tunnel or path to these past lives that are shared with us through our oversoul, or the one that is helping us to see the past, present, and future all at one time, so we can change that energetic signature into a resonant, a memory. A fractal that's instead of like that, like it's concrete. 1717. So this will be some kind of quality of information, or information that's innate to each and every individual's spirit. They're each and every individual's higher self. Okay? The form, feeling, and perception of the soul memory that continues on the journey within time in the laws of the third density, or the third dimension. So this will be organizing either impressions or a part of the hologram that has been recording, like a recording, like what I'm doing right now, of a soul memory, instead of a reaction of trauma. I hope that makes sense. So, like a recording of the imprint of memory. So, the hands. So you see your hands and the lines on your hands. Now, if you was to imprint that onto something, what would happen? Like when we were little kids, and we used to do the I don't know, some of you probably, younger generations may have not have done this, but I know the older generations have. Like when you were a kid and you did the handprint on your what is it, ceramic or clay, and then they baked it and gave it to you to take home to your parents. Well, when you made that imprint, all the lines on your hand were imprinted into that, so you could see. And this is how they targeted a lot of people, was because of the lines on your hand tells a lot about you. Just like the same thing with the memory imprints that you've put on yourself through past lifetimes, so you would awaken and be able to find your soul's blueprint. I hope that makes sense. So you basically put a handprint in past lives on your soul so you can awaken and follow your path into your past, present, and future times, the law of time, in order to find that soul's blueprint and what you're here to do in this time, because it's going to be different for everybody, because that's what's rippling out from your eternal soul memory and forming the adaptations that you're coming into now that maybe you never have experienced in your whole life. Just like I said, I didn't know anything about spirituality. I know nothing about this before my awakening started. And then when my awakening started, it almost killed me. But I decided to look at it from an oversoul's perspective, so I wouldn't be afraid of the past or the present or the future. And that's what allowed me to be the calm one in the room, or the person who just looks at things and then reacts, as opposed to letting my emotions dictate how I feel about everything. But those same emotions are what is unexplainable soul patterns to your awakening. So, as I said before, it's like my heart was broken, and I had to go all the way down into my soul. And from there on, I started remembering. I started bringing past lives into the present and understanding the solution to the way that I react to things, and instead of just reacting and going all over the place and being able to handle anything, basically, including homelessness, almost dying, from a different perspective, instead of the perspective that I thought made sense. Didn't make any sense. None of it made any sense. But therein lies the rub. So it will start to make sense, my loves. It will start to show up as an energetic signature, and then after the energetic signature, you'll see the pattern that plays out, the handprint that you put upon your soul, so you can understand where you've been, where you're going, and what's happening right now. Alright? Well, I hope this video helped a lot of people, because, we're all dealing with the karma. And karma doesn't always have to be bad. Okay? Everybody says karmic this, karmic that. Karma is only as bad as you make it. If you think you're a victim, we are all victims here. You can't, because we're all learning and we're all experiencing life in a very 3D going into 4D reality. And a lot of these things that we're seeing right now, we were meant to see, so we could bring our oversoul blueprint into this reality and help people, help other people find theirs too. So like I said, I really hope this helped some people understand. I did my best at explaining it in layman's terms, because like I said, the teacher that I listen to goes way into the scientific terms, and the average person is not going to understand that, because they'll get bored halfway through. You might get bored with me. I don't know. I'm just putting this out there to try to help as many people as I can understand, how they're supposed to look into those past lives and understand and replicate what they're soul blueprint is helping them to see through dream time and through past lives and memories. Okay? Like I said, let me know in the comments if this helped, and I will see you for the readings here shortly. And take care. Much love and blessings. Bye for now.